American football in Finland.
Maple League back in action on Wednesday this next week. And I know, like, on the website, SHAL website, they have this Wednesday game as part of week 7, but it just makes more sense for us to say it's part of week 8. Or actually, I'm going to call it week 7.5. That's when the Royals play the Roosters on Wednesday. And then the regular week 8 starts on Thursday with the Steelers versus Butchers. And then the Crocs play the Crusaders on Friday. And the last game is on Saturday with the Wolverines versus the Royals. So let's spend a little bit of time looking into each one of these matchups. First matchup, the Royals, who are 2-3, playing against the Helsinki Roosters, who are 1-4.
Woo!
What's the storyline? What's the most important thing about this game?
I think this one is more like who wants it more. I think the main thing is going to be this matchup between the mobile Timothy Morvik and the dynamic Alpha Jala against that Roosters defense, which is crumbled, which is not proven. And also, will the Roosters run game have success against the Royals front seven, which is pretty okay. They're pretty all right. Like they're not stout, but they're able to be penetrated. And we're going to see if the Roosters are going to try to run the ball on them and control the clock and keep the ball out of Timothy's hands, so he doesn't have that many chances of getting the ball to Alpha. But also on the other side, how much of an effect is Alpha going to be against the Roosters as a whole? As far as the return game, playing defense, all of that. So it's Alpha against the world right now. Pretty much what it is. But I
Yeah.
think more so the important thing is the Roosters running game and what is be able to do against the front seven of the Royals, and also the Royals connection between Timothy and Alpha and even Swarsley back there. What effect will their offense have against the Roosters kind of defense that's just not proven? So I think it'll be the battle of the offenses this week.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think when I look at this, an interesting aspect of this game is, can the Roosters create turnovers? That has been kind of the Achilles heel for the Royals. I mean, obviously the 5 interceptions, but they've had a couple of games like that where they've turned it over a lot, and it's kind of been the difference for them. I don't know if the Roosters can do that. Has the Roosters done that this season? I know
Mm.
they got an interception in this last game, but it was more like a give me. I don't think the I don't think the Royals are going to do what the Roosters quarterback does and just give the other team the ball. But I'm not sure that the Roosters defense is that type of defense, and I could be
Right.
wrong. But that would be very interesting if they were able to create those turnovers against this team that, again, turnovers is kind of how you beat the Royals. Make them turn over the ball because their defense isn't great. It's not bad, but it's not great. It'll give up points. But the Roosters, I don't think their defense can create those turnovers. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. If you're listening to my voice, you're now part of the AFF community. But don't be shy about supporting us. Head over to our website and order some AFF swag. Get a t-shirt for this beautiful summer weather, or a comfy hoodie you can rock all year long. And if you really want the drip, scoop up one of our limited edition snapback caps. Everything you need to represent the AFF community can be found on our website at americanfootballinfinland.com/merch. And then the next game is the Kuopio Steelers, who are 4-2, versus the Porvoo Butchers, who are 4-2. So they're playing for second place.
Okay.
What do you got for storyline or question for these teams in this one?
Who we got? Porvo Butchers,
Butchers and
Scorpio
Steelers.
Steelers.
Steelers at home.
Ooh, it's the playoffs, baby. It's the playoff preview right here. Steelers at home. Is Porvo going to be able to make that offense go against a more complete defense? I think this is more so what this is about to be. I do think Scorpio has an advantage in this game, and that advantage is that their front seven is not going to. Well, I'm not going to say not going to allow, but I don't think Mickey will be a factor in this game. I don't think Porvo's running game will be a factor in this game.
Well,
I
let's throw
think
this out here. Last time they played, Butchers beat the brakes off of them 24-6. I mean, not the brakes off of them, but it was very convincing.
Yeah, they played him the game after what's the name left, right? After Lee Anthony left, or they beat him. They didn't beat him. Yeah, they didn't beat him before Lee Anthony left.
Yeah, it was definitely after he was gone.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that they're not going to come in. I just don't think their running game is going to be a factor. Not the way that Achilles them is playing right now. They're just too stout for that. I don't think that they're going to get ran on like that. Which now Brandon Gruner has to throw the ball more. His deep ball has definitely got to get better. I think his intermediate passes are good, but he's going to have to hit over the top a lot more. And he does sometimes, and I'm not saying that it's just that, but if you look at the completion rate on his deep ball is not as good. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Definitely be interesting to see. I think Corpio is gonna sell out and run the ball. I do think they're gonna run the ball. I think they're not gonna take that many chances with Ambrose throwing the ball. So I think the Butchers defense is also built for that though.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout or anything. I think it's going to be two stout defenses, or who defenses is the more stout is what it's going to come down to. Offenses, I think it's going to be equal on both sides. I don't think either offense will really just go out there and shoot out these big scoring quarters at first or whatever. But I just think these defenses, these coaches, they're going to be a little more prepared for each other. So whoever defense can hold the longest will win the game. I think the team this week who gets turnovers and capitalize off those turnovers are probably going to win the game. So I think the team, if you can get 2 or 3 interceptions, you're probably going to win this game.
I just trying to think of like an interesting aspect of it. I think in this game, if the Butchers win, that makes them 5-2. I don't want to speak too soon, but that kind of locks them into that second place. Have they played the Crusaders yet? I'm trying to look here. Yeah, they already beat the Crusaders, but they lost.
Yeah, they had a little early game with them.
Yeah, they already beat the Crusaders, so they win this game, win the games they're supposed to win. They might be a lock for second place just by beating the Steelers twice, just because there's not going to be enough games for them to lose. I mean, not saying they will lose it, but still think of them Dallas Cowboys in my heart. I think for them, the last time they played the Steelers, we know the Steelers weren't at their best, and I don't think the Steelers were ready for that game. This game they'll be ready, but the Butchers will be even more ready. And I do think that the Butchers, the biggest matchup in this will be that Butchers passing game versus the Steelers secondary. That's where it's going to come down to, like what you said, with the deep balls. Are they going to be able to complete those? The Steelers secondary has proven good. Like, they're opportunistic. I mean, obviously, if you give them interceptions, they're going to take them, but they're in the right places at the right times. Like, they're not a team that just blows coverages and gives you easy balls, and their corners are good, not great, and they don't get, blown out on those edges on the go routes. Like, you might get a step on them, but that means you need a good throw. You don't have a good throw. Ronnie Lane and I want to say the other guy's name is Simone Otto. They both can do what you need from them at the cornerback position. So it's not like a huge disparity of talent. But Miko Sepinen, Christian Altonen, they might be unstoppable. That just might be the case. Those two guys are two guys that don't have to run the deep route to score. They don't have to run a deep route to move the ball down the field, and that could be something that we haven't seen the Steelers secondary really have to go up against, is a team that can actually do what you said, and that's do the intermediate routes, the intermediate and short routes, and turn them into big plays. Most teams are kind of live or die with that one-on-one ball making the big plays. So that's the key matchup for that one. I think it'll be really interesting to see. And, of course, whoever wins this game is going to be in second place afterwards. Playoff game, baby. All right, so the next game is the Crocodiles, who are 5-1, versus the Crusaders, who are 3-3. Crocs had a bye week last week, so we haven't seen them since before midsummer. They're 5-1 technically, but they have not lost a game. and they beat the Crusaders soundly last time that they played. I don't know where they played. Where did the Crusaders play? Was that in Sineoki? No, it was in Loya, and they beat them by a touchdown, but it was a blowout in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got for like a storyline or question for this one?
Whew. Can the Crusaders continue to crusade? I mean, it sounds corny, but can they continue to pull out these wins? That's all they got to do right now. That's all they got to do is to try to pull out the win. Now, uh, what they're going against is going to be it's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? It's now. I just feel like now it's the part of the season where you are who you are for the most part. So
Yeah.
I think most teams, you got the Crocs that, they're probably number one in a lot of statistics, and it's for a reason, because they're consistent. And now you have to get to the point where the Crusaders have to be consistent in their play. They have to be consistent scoring points. Yeah, you got guys going both ways, but this is what you signed up for. This is what you're going with. And you got to accept the good with the bad that comes with that. Hopefully that you can go out and take over games where you don't have to come back because it's harder. But as far as this storyline, this game, just to see like which team is going to make that statement to say, hey, this is who we are now, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, I think with this one, for me, what I would consider an interesting aspect, and I haven't done a key matchup, but an interesting aspect of this game is I don't think it matters.
Mm.
It is not important. If the Crocodiles lose, they might go down in the rankings, but they'll still be the top team, but doesn't change much. If the Crusaders lose, so you lost twice to the Crocs.
To the Crocs, yeah.
That's it. But like,
you really just measuring. At the end of the day, it's a measure.
Yeah, it's just
too.
that's
if you lose.
Yeah, and it's a measuring if you want it to be a measuring. That's the thing that makes me say that it's not super important for either team, because look at it this way. I think we all feel that both these teams are going to be in the playoffs. For the Crusaders, it's just about where you land in the playoffs. Right now, at 3-3, you're in fourth place. You would much prefer to be in third place than fourth. If you're in third place, you don't play the Crocs in the semis. You can play them in the championship. That's how you would want to go
that's
about
what you
it.
want. That's what
But
you want.
if you, I mean, again, this is overthinking, but we're just kind of talking it out. These previews, we just talk it out anyways. You don't want to show your hand to this team either. Like, you kind of showed them almost everything you can do last time, but you just didn't have a quarterback who was capable because you had RJ. Now, this next game, you can do that same stuff. And there's probably more that they can do, but I don't think they're going to show it all. I think this will be one of those games where you play good just so that they know, hey, we ain't no slapdicks, like we here. But you don't try to like go all in and win this game, because like we've been saying about this team, you got guys playing both ways, and you still got to win enough games to get to the playoffs. And you would rather, against a team that you know is going to easily be the 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs, instead of going all out and maybe dying against this team, you take this L. That's cool. But we know we can beat everybody else. Like, they legitimately know every other game they play for the rest of the season, they can win. And a lot of them they can win easily. So you could take the chance of, not being able to have your players be full go, because someone might this is one of the games where someone might get hurt. This game where you don't want to risk any type of injury just to beat this team at this point in the season. So just do enough that it's competitive. But ultimately, if it comes down to, okay, we need your blood, sweat, and tears, y'all say that for another day. Because you still have, this is game 7 for them. So they still have 5 more games, and they can probably win 5.
Yeah. And something I forgot. I mean, at the end of the day, a win, it doesn't help the Crocs any more than it hurts the Royals. But if the Royals win,
Crusaders,
not Royals, it's Crusaders win, it obviously makes them feel a little better. But I think going into this game, what the Crusaders want to do is try to see if they can score points early.
Yeah, early. Yeah.
If they can score points early, now it changes the dynamic of what the Crocs can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, Powell, you're still probably going to give him the ball, and you're probably still going to figure out ways to get him the ball, but you're not going to run your way back from down 21.
But
It's
here's the catch.
possible. It's possible, but I'm just saying this is the type of game where you don't want to give the Crusaders any type of hope, because if they do get it, this is where you're going to find yourself. And if you want Whitehead to be in a game where he's throwing the ball 30 to 40 times a game, 30 times in this game, then it's going to put you in what you don't normally do every week.
But that's the
So
catch-22 though. And just kind of remembering what they did last time against this team, yeah, you could try to score early. Say Crusaders get the ball first, they score, and then the Crocodiles spend 7 minutes getting the ball down the field. That impacted your offense because
yeah,
two of your best receivers are also playing on defense.
defense. Yeah.
And then you try to score, but you got to just focus on Seth, which the other team knows that, and they're able to stop him on that drive. And now it's 7-7, and the
Yeah.
Crocodiles don't have.
But
That's
there's
what I'm
also
saying.
going
Like
to
their
be a
defense has to
mismatch on
stop
that
them.
side, though. Yeah, like it's going to be a mismatch on both sides.
Yeah,
The mismatch on for the Crusaders is just strictly the Crocs line and Powell. That's the mismatch right there. That right there. But on the opposite end of it, the Crocs trying to match up their DBs with the Crusaders receivers is going to be hell.
yeah,
You know what I
but I don't
meing?
think they
Because
have
you
to
can't
though.
play zone. You can't play zone unless. Okay, now they're probably gonna get the push that they need to get or whatever, and Yadell's gonna have to get out of there. But I'm not going to take away from the fact that who's on their offense is still on their offense. Like,
Look,
not
let's compare
saying
to who
that.
they just played. The Crocs defensive secondary is much better than the Roosters.
Yeah,
Much better. And
yeah,
look how much trouble UNC had getting points against the Roosters early. If they
yeah,
do that against the
yeah.
Crocs not
But
gonna
you
let
don't
them
have
come
a.
back.
You didn't. They didn't really have. I mean. And I'm sure the offensive coordinators, when they're looking at it, like they didn't really have any defensive threats that they were like game planning for either. You
True.
know what I'm saying? I know against the Crocs now, you actually have to go say, hey, if they're
Yeah.
getting pressure on us too much, then we're gonna have to go to this to
Yeah.
back them off. And they already run the screen good, so that is gonna take away. Like if the Crocs just think they just gonna go out here and just super rush the Crusaders all game and win, it's not gonna happen because Rob is gonna make that adjustment and be like, hey, we're gonna run draw, we're gonna run screen every single time they do it. We're gonna run screen to the receivers. I don't care if we're gonna get number
Yohani
2 yards.
Kolomaki gonna shut all that down. He don't care about none of
You're
that. He's shutting
he
that
gonna have
all
to.
down.
He's
Yohani
going
shutting that all down.
Eric is gonna have to be and basically what they did, if you watch this and you see what they did to the Roosters, they went out to that stacked receiver thing, right?
Yeah.
So now you go to the stacked receiver against the Crocs. Now Eric has to go to a side. Now you could take the chance of Seth possibly running the zone read, breaking that zone read if Yohani don't make the tackle. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
But he
Now
will. But he
Liddell can
will.
get out. Now he can get out of there on the zone read. And see, that's what I'm saying. So Rob is people are probably not paying attention to this, but he's showing you flashes of what they can do, and he's telling you that hey, all I got to do is spread out your defense, and now I can work this. If this doesn't work, now go to something else. But I gotta try this. I gotta see this. So it's gonna put the Crocs. This is the game that the Crocs are gonna have to think the most. Their coaches
But
are gonna have to
but I
coach
think that's
this.
helpful for them. I think that's helpful for the Crocs because just think about it. On defense, let's just say everything you're saying is correct. They're gonna be able to out scheme the Crocs and force the Crocs to think. All the Crocs have to do is make them work for it, make their drives long.
Yeah,
And then when they get the ball, do the same thing because the Crusaders are playing with the same people on both sides of the ball. So all you have to do is force the Crusaders to play a long game. Don't let them get any quick points. Don't give up any 3-and-out possessions on offense. And come in the fourth quarter, the Crocodiles are one of the few teams that has what it takes to actually beat them in the fourth quarter because half a step here, half a step there, gonna show against a team like the Crocs, but it won't show against a lesser team like, the Roosters.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it last time, actually. The last time these two teams played, I mentioned there was a couple plays where I felt like Curtis Slater just wasn't able to give Christian Powell what he normally does because he was a little, exasperated. Exasperated. That's what I want to say. So if they get into that situation, and there's nobody in the world that can tell me I'm wrong when I say this. I don't care who you are in the fourth quarter. There's nobody in better shape than Christian Powell. Like there's nobody that in the Maple League that will be able to, in the fourth quarter, give Christian Powell what he's gonna give you. Because he's gonna be still giving you first quarter feels in that fourth quarter. And we've seen this for almost 6 years now. And I think
you're right.
But again, that's why I said earlier, when I think about it, I don't think it's worth it for the Crusaders. Like, I think that if it gets to that where it's a close game, it's going back and forth, in the fourth quarter, it's like, okay, it's coming down to it. If I'm the Crusaders, I'm cool. I know we can make it to this fourth quarter. That's all I need to know. Because now I'm just thinking, we win these next 5 games, we'll see them back in Senioki in September, and we'll know exactly what to do.
Hey, third place, baby. If I'm the UNC, I'm trying to come in third place.
Third place, exactly. Exactly. Just come in third place.
It don't really matter for home field advantage. Don't really matter to them. So it's second or third, baby. I'll take it. As long as we don't come in fourth, well, we got to see them first. We got a chance. But no, I got you.
Yeah. Exactly. That makes perfect sense. I just feel like, we overthinking it. They're not thinking that hard about it. They probably just want to win. But if they just do enough that the Crocodiles know that you can take them to the wire, that would be enough to put fear in their heart and have you set up for the rest of the season. So last game is Helsinki Wolverines, who are 0-6, versus the Wausau Royals, who will either be 3-3 or 2-4 at that point. I really think it matters if they're 2-4 or 3-3. Because if they're 2-4, it really don't matter. They're not. It don't matter if they win or not. But if they're 3-3, it just get them playing against the Wolverines can make them 4-3, which could put them right in the thick of things at fourth place. Depending, I don't know. It's a lot of conjecture because this game is on the same week that they have. They have a game on Wednesday and then a game on Saturday. Not Sunday, but Saturday. Something interesting about this game, you think, with the Wolverines and the Royals playing? I got nothing besides the fact that it's a game.
I'm over there like speechless.
I guess there's the most interesting thing, or I guess something that
jersey color, I guess. I don't know.
Royals gonna be in them white joints. Maybe the Wolverines come out in the yellows. I don't think I've seen the gold uniforms this year, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. Game-wise, it's just we know the Royals are going to win. So that's what's tough. Also, don't think the Wolverines really match up anywhere against the Royals. But it will be interesting to see if the Wolverines score, because that's something that doesn't happen every game. And if they do score, they score more than once. I don't know if that's happened at all this season. Have they had a more than one score game? Maybe against no, I don't think so. I think they've either had 0 or 7 or 0 or 6 or something. So, yeah, that's all we got for that game. Sorry. There's not a lot we can talk about a game that's so far in the future and one team is playing 2 games. Oh, well, we'll move on.
If you're listening to my voice, you're now part of the AFF community. But don't be shy about supporting us. Head over to our website and order some AFF swag. Get a t-shirt for this beautiful summer weather, or a comfy hoodie you can rock all year long. And if you really want the drip, scoop up one of our limited edition snapback caps. Everything you need to represent the AFF community can be found on our website at americanfootballinfinland.com/merch.
All right, so let's get to our weekend picks. Picking winners, not easy, but we like to do it. Just keeping up with where our pick'em rankings are right now. Tied for first place, Spencer at 16-4, and Coach Q at 16-4.
Yeah, Jack.
I tell you, that's surprising. But Coach Q been on it this season, picking the right picks
Yeah.
at the right times.
Mm-hmm.
In third place is Chris Green. He's 15-5. Fourth place, Alex Malcho is 13-4. Fifth place is Finland Swami and Coach Mike. They're both 12-5. Seventh place would be me, Perfect Purpose. I'm 14-6. Eighth place is Jamal Clay, 10-4. Ninth place, Jabari Harris, 8-6. Last place, Andy B, 7-4. So that's where we at. So we kind of already talked about all these games this week. So we'll go a little bit into our picks and why we chose them. I don't have Chris's picks this week, so his will just be up on the graphic. But Q, who you got and why?
Ooh. What's the first game? Who we going with first?
I think it's Royals Roosters.
First pick, I'm going to go with the Roosters. I'm going with the
Roosters?
Roosters this game. Yeah, I'm going with the Roosters this game.
Why them over the Royals? The Royals just lost. They need this. The
Because
Roosters
I know
also
the
just
Roosters
lost.
need this too. I know the Roosters need this more than the Royals do. And if this is it, if the Roosters lose, this is it. So they have to treat this game like it's a championship game almost. This is it. Like if you take this other loss, then it's pretty much going to be hard to get back in there after this. But not saying it's impossible. So I think they're going to come out with every single thing uh, possible to win this game. That's why I'm going with them. I feel like they're desperate. When you're desperate, you'll it'll bring out something in you that you never knew you had in you, and a lot of those players. And I think maybe this is that game. So I'm going with the Roosters.
You know what? I just always you know what I would like to see the Roosters do? I like to see them put some of their receivers on defense. What could it hurt to put Santu Vekamaki out there at safety? It couldn't hurt. What's the new guy, Danny Kidner? He needs to start learning how to play
Yeah,
DB, man. You
I'm
put him
sure he
at
will.
corner.
I'm sure he will. They got to have an answer for Alpha. I mean, it's
Gotta
gonna
do
be
something.
hell.
The
Yeah.
second game is Kuopio Steelers versus Porvoo Butchers. Who you got?
Woo!
Going for second
Let's go,
place.
Scorpio! Let's go, Scorpio!
You going Steelers?
Scorpio Steelers.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. All right. It's not
Scorpio
bad.
Steelers. They at home too. I'm going with the home field advantage. Um, I think I think their running game is strong. I think it'll prevail in the end. I think it'll put them in predicaments where uh, Ambro can capitalize on the field position and he doesn't have to do so much throwing the ball. But I just think I think they have a better coaching staff. I think they'll put them in a better predicament. Brandon Gwinner is going to do what he does. I think him and Miko and those other guys, they're going to have a big game ahead of them. I think this is a big test again. And but I think at home I'm getting Scorpio to deny. We'll see, but I'm going Scorpio.
All right. Next game is San Diego Crocodiles versus UNC Crusaders.
I'm going UNC, baby.
You going with them?
I'm going UNC. I'm biased this week. Um, I think they'll make this a better game than everybody expects. I think they smell blood a little bit. Nobody's is. I don't think anybody is afraid of anybody at this point. I think with that roster that they have, that they can make some things happen. Um, Without their defense being totally stout in certain areas, I think they still got a chance um, to make it happen. So I'm going with them. I'm being biased this week. I hate going against Christian Powell. I really do. But I feel like I haven't watched the Crocs play in forever. I feel like I haven't seen them play in forever.
They took one
So
bye week. We had
yeah, it's
midsummer
like
and they had a bye week. You like, oh, I ain't ever seen them.
yeah.
It's been
I'm
two
like I feel
weeks.
like I play. I feel like when you don't play, it kind of like does something. It's like you get a little bit uncomfortable. You get comfortable. I think you get a little rusty. You know what I'm saying? And I think you kind of underestimate people when you come back off that break of like, oh, it's UNC. They're not that good. They got big name guys, but I know how they be in Finland sometimes. It's like they look at that like that, and then before you know it, you down 21-0 and looking crazy. You know what I mean? But not saying that's gonna happen. But I'm going UNC this game.
All right, last game, Wolverines versus Royals, and why?
I'm going Royals because I just don't think the Wolverines have enough to compete to beat anybody at this point. Definitely not the Royals. Um, Timothy will probably score himself. He'll probably score 10 touchdowns, just running 5 and probably if they keep me in that long. I ain't gonna call them out like that, but I think they have a bounce back game. Not as many turnovers, just more connections, not turnovers. And I think they win that easily though.
All right, and then I guess I'll do my picks now. I'm going with the Roosters over the Royals, and I just think because of the turnaround more than anything. In my opinion, I think the Royals are a better team, but I think this quick turnaround doesn't give them a lot of time to, fix what they need to fix before they play the Roosters. And I think the Roosters, like you said, they need it so much more. And they've had a little bit more time to prepare, and they need this win a little more. I think they'll come out on top in this one. I think the Royals just try to get through that game so they can play 3 days later after playing 4 days later. Steelers versus Butchers. I'm going with the Steelers. Originally, I was going to go with the Butchers because I think this could go either way, but I feel like the Steelers are onto something. I like what they did in the last game. This is one of those ones where I'm picking who I think might win this game, but it doesn't necessarily mean I think they're the better team. I think the Butchers are a better team, but I think that the Steelers are going to be able to win this game and this matchup in Kuopio. I think there's just the right time of the season for them to get the win. And again, the Dallas Cowboys haven't lost recently, so I expect that to happen. So I think, are the Butchers on a 3-game win streak?
Yeah.
So they started 1-2, and now they're 4-2. Yeah, they win this game. Yeah. They definitely a second place team, and that's why I'm going with the Steelers. Either I'm right and the Steelers get this win because the Butchers need to lose, or I'm wrong and the Butchers use me as motivation to get this win. Either way, I'm helping the game. For the third game, Crocs versus Crusaders. I'm going with the Crusaders because I said earlier in the season that the Crocodiles can be beaten. I might have been wrong, but the Crusaders can make me right. They're probably the only team that can make me right, so I'm going to have to go with the Crusaders. I do think the Crocodiles are the better overall team, but I think that if anybody's going to beat them, it's going to be the Crusaders, and that's the only time they're going to play before the end of the regular season, so I'm going with the Crusaders. And I'm picking the Royals because they play in the Wolverines. And that's our pick'ems.
Quick.
American football in Finland.